everybody, and welcome to today's Teen STEAM. I am Ms. Montana, and I'm super excited to be able to do it with you guys. Okay, so give me a second so we can hear me a bit better. Alright, so what we're going to talk about today is we are going to be making touchscreen gloves. So what you have in your bag is you'll have a needle. It's fully encased in tape so that it didn't poke you or anything. You can just cut it out with a pair of scissors. And then you're also going to have some conductive threads. Okay, so conductive thread will convey the electromagnetic pulses or electric pulses in your body, created by your body, to a screen. So the reason why when you grab a phone and you try to use it, it doesn't work like this is because, or when you have a glove on, sorry, is because it's not getting the pulses that your body is sending out, right? It's not getting that. See? Oh, that's because I hit the button 1 minute. See? Nothing. So what we're going to do is you guys each have a pair of gloves. And the easiest thing to do with this is to put on the glove and just kind of look at like what part of your finger do you use to tap the screen. So like for me, I use kind of the center, so I use like here. So what you can do is I just have, here I have a Sharpie, and I'm just kind of going to mark that spot. You don't have to because it may not wash out, but you can just go like that. And about there's where I touch the screen. And then with my thumb, it's about there. So once you have that marked, we get to move on to the next part of this. So once you have your places marked, we're going to start worrying about threading our needle. Now that is the most difficult part, I'm going to tell you right now. I always have to squint a little bit just to get it in, but it's not a big deal. You already have your thread. So a couple of tips with this, right? The concept of threading a needle is pretty easy, but if for some reason you're struggling, I always suggest recutting the end of your string. Sometimes it's just frayed enough that it's not going to go through or it's catching. Another thing you can do is if you want to get it wet, just a little bit wet, and then kind of go like that. It helps stick everything back together where it's supposed to be. Or you can use a threader like this, which is what I'm going to do because I am absolutely awful at threading needles. So what you do to use a threader is you stick it through the eye of the needle like that. Can you see that? And then you go ahead and you put the thread through that larger opening just like so, and then you pull the threader back through the needle, just like that. And it works much, much better that way. You can also use like a small piece of paper to do the same thing with it, but I've just found that using the threader works wonders. Okay, so now we're going to get a bit of thread, and we'll need to cut it. Okay. And then I am going to knot the end. You can either do it by looping both sections of it over a finger and then pulling the string part. Oopsies, that didn't work. Okay, we'll try this again. We loop it around. I pull it forward so you can see the circle. I put, so you can see the thread under it. And then I just pull it back through, like so. And as you can see, I've got a decent knot right here. Okay. So, here comes the interesting part, is sewing it on the glove. And I'm actually going to, if you give me a second, I'm going to flip the screen down, well, the camera, so that we can see the desk a bit better, so that I don't have to hold it up and you guys get a better view of what's going on, okay? Okie dokie, so here you can see my desk, and what I'm gonna do is grab my needle, and I am going to start from the inside of the glove so that the knot is on the inside, and we're just gonna, you have to be kind of careful with this part. You just want to, I guess, flip it inside out. You should still be able to see your dot, I think. Yep. Okay, and then go ahead and just poke it through and very gently, there we go. Okay, and then we're gonna bend it. And you can be very fancy and stitch a shape or something like that. I am not that fancy, so I'm just gonna kind of loop it through and create a continuous space that's covered in this conductive thread, okay? Just like this. Okay. Right, so once you have it all stitched up and you've got a decent chunk of it covered in the conductive thread, you can do a couple of things. You can poke the needle through and flip it inside out and tie it in a knot, which is what we're gonna do. We're going to just, okay, so, because we need to tie it off and tie it in a knot. So we're gonna go ahead and stick the needle in, and remember, be very, very careful anytime you put the needle anywhere where your eyes are not on the point. Okay, so here is our thumb. Okay. And then here's the finger that the needle is in. So be very, very careful. As you can see, I found the point of it right here. So I'm just going to be very careful in that area. It's kind of lodged into some of the fibers of the glove, so we're going to unhook it and just keep working on flipping this inside out. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, just a second, that is very stuck. Oof. Alright. So once you're ready to tie it in a knot, the easiest thing to do is to actually sew under a stitch with the needle and pull it through, and then take the needle through the loop you just created, like this, pull it tight. And then you can just bring in the scissors, trim off the excess thread you got there. And then I'm going to come over and do it to the thumb as well. It's got a little too much thread. Okay. And flip it back the way we need it to be, right? Okay. So now, as you can see, I have these little spots on here that have the conductive thread, and just a second. Okay, so as you can see on here, I have the spots of the conductive thread. Now if I touch the phone, it moves. I'm super excited about this. So unlike before when we touched it with just the regular glove, which I kept one glove that I did not do it to so that we could look at it and compare. So here's the glove without the conductive thread, okay? It's not doing anything. And here is the glove with the conductive thread. Isn't that exciting? Alright everybody, thank you for joining me today for Teen STEAM, and I look forward to seeing you all again in 2 weeks. Enjoy your new gloves!